All right. Well, good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me today. So this month, our topic is going to be on command. So this training, it expands on what we covered in July. So if you were on that call, we covered creating and sharing command templates. In today's training, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the other functionalities that's available within the command solution, and then we'll also talk about how it works with our other applications, such as Salamander Live. So as you guys know, in Salamander Live, we've released the ability to create events, and also as of today, if you did not know, we also released our plan feature as well, too. So that's a paid-for feature. So we'll talk about how the command works with that. And then also, of course, with the Track app when it comes to event management. During the training, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can use the chat function within the conference tool to message me as well. If you have not done so, please mute yourself just so that we can kind of eliminate that background noise. Thank you very much. All right, so first off, as normal, I just want to do a high-level overview of what command is, especially for those that are new to this solution or just learning how to use it. So command is one of our PC-based solutions, and what that means is that command can only be accessed on the computer that it's installed on. So that's what it means by PC-based. Unlike Salamander Live, where you can access that from any computer that you have internet access to. So when a command event is joined with other Salamander solutions, such as your Track app, your Rapid Tag Evac, and other command solutions, what it does is it consolidates all that data, so all the accountability data that you're collecting, so resources, so your people, equipment. And what it's doing is it's allowing you to create a visual chart with all the assignments, as you can see here on this screen. Unlike other solutions that are utilized in the field, command is normally used in the EOC or in the incident command post, so that those in charge can basically have all the resource information available to them. From here, you can add resources. You can move those resources from one assignment to another. You're able to add assignments. So you'll see this toolbar at the bottom here. You'll be able to add new assignments. And all this information that you do within command is going to be synced and linked and sent back to all those connected solutions, so that your Rapid Tag, your other command solution, and Rapid Tag, if you have version 5, will be able to see those assignments as well as all those resources you're adding through command. So again, this is all done through this toolbar, which is drag and drop. All right. So let me just exit out of this presentation and let's go straight into the application itself. So here's command. Command is this icon right here. It's a red icon. So when you're on that computer that has the command installed, you should see this icon. If you open it up, there is no need for you to log in. Again, this is once you've subscribed to this, you'll be able to access this with no login information. Let me just make this bigger. So when you open that up, you're going to get this window that says Start Incident. So you'll see that there's two tabs on here. There's a New and there's a Find. So let's talk about this Find tab real quick here. So when it comes to event management, as you start creating events through command, it is saved locally on your computer. So you'll see here it has its own database of all the events that you've created in the past, and you'll see any that that you've ended, and then any that are still opened, so they're still running. You'll see in here anything that's still running is going to be highlighted in green. And next on that, you'll see that there's a training column, whether or not you mark that event as training or not. So either state true or false in there. So you can search for past events, you can open those up, you can look at them. Even if they're ended, you can still view the data from that event. But from here, we're going to actually start a brand new event. We're going to start something from scratch. So in this case, go ahead and you would just name your event. So I'm just going to name this event, what's this? Thursday event. Yes, very inventive there. Okay, Thursday event, I'll put today's date. And then I'm going to mark this as training. Again, this will help you identify which events are actually real events versus training type events, either ones that you're creating for templates or ones that you're just kind of going in and trying to get used to navigating through the solution. There's location information you can add in here if you want to. By clicking this button, you can add, select the type of event this is. So there's some options on here. And then, of course, you can select a template if you want to. So these templates, we talked about this in July when we covered how to create and share templates. But in Command, any past events you can basically create a template from, or anything new that you're creating right now if you want to start something from a blank slate and then save a template that way. So this right here is my template database that I've saved in the past. I can share these amongst anybody else that also has a command, the command software. So I can go in here and I can open any one of these if I wanted to, and so on and so forth. So we're going to actually start something from scratch, especially for those that may have missed that training when we talked about creating templates. So I'm just going to cancel that. I'm going to create something from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Once I click Save, this is creating a brand new event. So if I logged into Salamander Live right now, I would see an event called Thursday Event with today's date. Also within the Track app, if your Track app users logged into the Track app, they would also see this event where they can join into this event. You'll notice that there's 2 assignments on here that automatically appear, on scene and off scene, so that's by default. Down at the bottom is your toolbar. So this toolbar is drag and drop functionality, so you can drag and drop whatever resource or assignments that you want to add to your event. And this over here is your accountability number, so your par count and your patient count. So if you have, if you're tracking patients or evacuees either through Command or through Rapid Take Evac, those numbers would pop up on here. So the real power of Command really comes in when you're utilizing it with a scanner. We recommend it, so if you don't have a scanner, I recommend you get one. Get with your local sales rep and grab a scanner and purchase a scanner to use with Command. It's going to save you so much data entry time because if you have barcodes, and those barcodes are coming from Salamander Live. As you know, in Salamander Live, you're able to print off assignment barcodes. And again, we're talking about sheets. We're not talking about the 2x3 hard cards. We're talking about the sheets of barcodes that you're able to print from Salamander Live. You put all that into a nice resource book and have that follow your Command computer. So now you have a book of all your assignments with barcodes in there, and then all your people. And if you're looking at your equipment as well, if you're looking at tracking that, have your equipment in there, as well as your collections. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago, we just released a update that allows you to start printing off collection barcodes. So you can put all that into this nice book and then have it follow along with your Command computer. So now you can just basically do this. I can just scan away. You see how quick and easy this is if I have those barcodes readily available. See how quick that is? Versus me going in here and dragging and dropping and then creating each assignment one by one. I see there's a question that's popping up on here. Do you need a print key? Yes, you do need a print key in order to print. So even if you're just printing to a paper copy, yes, you do need a print license. So in Salamander Live here, let me just go over here. I'll log in so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll make this so it's bigger in here. So in here, it's each of these different databases you're able to print, and the design I'm talking about is going to be the 8.5 by 11 designs. So if you wanted to print like 100 at a time, just go in here, select all that you want to print, and then it's this design right here. Let me just finish and print real quick here. As you guys know, we just did an update to the print control, which allows you to get the new barcodes for a collection, so make sure you update it. So in here, you'll see it's these designs right here. So these 8.5 by 11 designs, so the Avery 5163 or the Avery 151 or Avery 5199. So you can choose to have them with images or without images. Again, it depends on if you want photos printed with all the barcodes. So those are designs right there. And once you print them, you'll get anywhere from 6 to 10 barcodes per sheet, depending on the design that you're selecting. When I say 6 to 10, collections only print off 6 barcodes per sheet. People and equipment print off 10. So I'll show you a sample on here of what they would look like. Let me see. Here's my people one. So this is what they would look like right here. So this is a design. So you got, about 10 barcodes per sheet. And this one has like the pictures. That's why the pictures are popping up. Those that don't have pictures will have an empty space right there. That is correct. Thank you, Brendan. In Command, and what Brendan is talking about here, is that you don't need a print key if you're looking at printing a single assignment barcode from Command. So in Command itself, Command, you are able to print these barcodes off if you wanted to. In Command itself, you do not need a license key. So printing in here comes with the software itself. So if you purchase the software, then you get printing capability, just like RapidTag, where you don't need a separate license to print RapidTag IDs from RapidTag or RapidTag eBack. So that's another option in there as well too. So you can click print and then print it from here, as long as you set up your settings on here and you have a printer that's connected to it. So that's another option as well too. Okay. Any other questions about printing barcodes and then creating your resource book? Again, those are all just nice to have to make this process so much easier when you're looking at either creating a template or if you're looking at just creating an event. So sometimes events are pre-planned, sometimes events are just kind of spur of the moment, and you just got to create the event and start adding your assignments at that moment. Okay, no questions? All right. So once you start adding in your assignments in here, this is one of the solutions that you're able to build your chart structure. So if you're familiar with the track app itself, when you go into the track app, all the assignments are basically listed in the track app in alphanumeric order. In Command here, everything is kind of just thrown up on your screen here. However, this is the power of Command. You have that capability to create your chart structure. So you can create a relationship with all your different assignments. So again, if you're familiar with the ICS chart structure, you can use that. I've got, just your regular incident commander and then your sections on here. But again, if you're not using an ICS base or a NIMS base type chart and you're just using a check-in, check-out, or depending on what your event is, you can create your separate chart structure from there as well. So you're seeing that I'm just creating my chart structure by dragging and dropping one assignment on top of the other to create that relationship. So these assignments right here are reporting to the incident commander. Okay. So then in this case, when it comes to creating your chart structure, if you're creating this and then you also have your track app users will be able to see all these new assignments that you've added in here. So I logged into my track app right now. So when you're looking at event management, everything that you're doing in Command here, your track app users are able to see as long as they join that event through the track app. So I'm going to pull up my track app on here so you can see this happening live. So let me just get this up and running so you can see this entire event that we created here called Thursday Event appear within my track app. Okay, so let me just move this over here. So you'll see here's my track app, and you'll see here it is, Thursday Event. So this is an event that started. So it's 2:04 p.m. It's been running for 9 minutes. There's no resources in here, obviously, because no one has checked in yet. But either if I use Command to check people in, if I use the track app to check people in, the information would be syncing back and forth between my track app, so all my track app users that are logged into this event, and Command. So in this case, if I tap Join, I'll see all the assignments I've added so far, including the default ones on scene and off scene. So you see on that? Here's all my assignments on there. Some things to note about your chart structure here. So if you notice, I created a event from scratch. So this is an event from scratch. Now, if you're looking at creating if you activated an event through a plan, so as you guys know, this is a new feature we just launched today. So in Salamander Live, so this is again a paid feature. This is a paid feature. If you activated an event using a plan, it's very important to notate that you have to make sure, especially if you're using command, to create the same chart structure and add all the assignments to command if you're going to activate that and join them together. So this chart structure, you see this chart structure right here that I created through my plan. So this plan feature allows you to pre-plan for events, right? You can go in here, you can create your chart structure, very similar to what you saw within command itself. So we can go in here, we can drag and drop. Again, this uses drag and drop functionality. Drag and drop the icons, the assignment icon on here, and I can add all my assignments in here. So it's simply just dragging, dropping, and then I can add my assignments, okay? So this is going to pull down from your assignments list over here, or you can create new ones by just entering that in and then saving. So again, this is not a plans training, so I'm not going to focus too much on all the details for our plans. We are going to cover plans training on Tuesday, the 12th. So make sure if you're interested in learning more about the plans feature, please join me next week, Tuesday. And then that training is going to be all about plans, and then we'll have 2 more opportunities next month so that you can learn more about the plans feature. And then I'll do some demonstrations on that. And if you're interested, of course, you want to contact your local sales rep, and they'll be able to provide you a quote for the plans feature. So why this is important and why I want to talk about this is because if you are choosing to activate a plan, your plan already contains a chart. So you have a chart of all the assignments on there. It's laid out exactly the way you want it when it comes to a reporting structure. Not only that, within each of your assignments, you have planned resources. So you have people, equipment, collections. You can add, of course, there's an option for patients in here. But again, patients evacuees are usually not planned. So, but there's an option in there, of course, to capture that information. You aren't able to add any as of today, but this information is just going to pop up on your actual chart. So this right here, it actually will reflect over into your command as long as you copy the same chart structure. So what I mean is that here's my chart structure. I've created it. I've linked the ones that I need to on here. In command, I would need to go back into command here and I create the same chart. So I'd have to go in here and I have to create this exact same chart, same structure, place it exactly the same. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is when you join your command event with your plan event, it's just going to throw all these assignments up. It's just going to throw it all up into your layout area. Kind of like what before when I scanned it just kind of threw everything up in there. And then you'll have to recreate your chart that you have in here. So, which is not a problem, but if it's a large scale event and you've got hundreds of assignments, the last thing you want to do is take time to kind of build that when the event's running. So that's going to be a very important thing on here. So I'll show you guys on how that's gonna look like if you guys want to see that. But again, this is not a plans training; it's a command training. But I want to talk. I want to take some time to talk about because I know that there are some organizations out there that already have the plans feature, and if you're using it with this, I just want to caution you, making sure you create the same structure in here. Okay. All right, so I've got my event in here. So if I'm in the track app right here, so I've got the track app. If I'm scanning in people from the track app, I can do so. And this information is going to be relayed back to command. Okay. So let me just grab some barcodes in here. I'm going to tap the scan button. I'm just going to scan some barcodes. I'm seeing my lighting is good right here. So I scanned a barcode. It's going to tell me I need to select an assignment. So I'm going to add this person as incident commander. I'm going to tap the back button because I only need one person for there. So you'll see in here I scanned in this person for incident commander. Once this syncs up to command, you should see that there's one person added to the incident commander assignment. There it is. So it takes, it depends on your internet connection, but it will take anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes for it to sync up to command. So now those are in your EOC or in your command post can see that you're checking in people within their different assignments. Okay. So if I want to scan a bunch of people to the staging assignment, I can select the assignment first, which is what I did. So I'm just going to scan these people away. You'll see that my screen is populating up the validation. So this is Salamander Identity Verification. So this is a feature that comes with the Track app, and what it's doing, it's just verifying and validating all these IDs. It's going through 5 different verification checks to making sure that the IDs are valid. Okay, there you go. So I just added a bunch of people to staging. There they all are. And then you'll see as it syncs up, all this data is going to populate into the staging assignment. And there you are. Now, depending on how you want to use command is kind of, if you want to think about command, it's kind of a combination of all the solutions together. Kind of Salamander Live with that chart function. So in Salamander Live, you'll see that there's a chart option on the events dashboard. So it's kind of a combination of that. So you'll see here, if we go to events, go to Thursday event, you'll see that there's a basic chart. So you can get the extended version for the chart, which allows you to create the chart on here. So this is what it would look like if you were to just join with a plan and not have the template. So it kind of throws everything up on here. So this is what it's doing. Again, your chart structure in Salamander Live is different than your chart structure in Command if it's just a normal regular event, not one from a plan. So if you have the extended version of the chart, you are able to create a chart in here. So you see that? Again, you have to purchase and have the extended version of the chart feature in order to be able to do this. But I can create that same chart structure that I have in Command. So you see on here, this is kind of just a combination, Command's kind of a combination of these. And also with the Track app. As you know, the Track app, you're able to check in people, you're able to move people, you're able to scan their barcodes, you're able to download. You can't download people through Command because Command in this case is not connected to the Salamander Live database in that way, where you aren't able to download resources that you have within your Salamander Live database. That's not a functionality that's available in here. But if you have the barcodes, like we talked about earlier, you can scan them in. So in this case right here, if I wanted to scan someone into this assignment, this will populate in the Track app as well. So I can right click. So if you want to activate an assignment, so you see on here, this staging assignment is green. That means this is the active assignment. If I start scanning in people or equipment or collections, they're all going to be thrown into the staging assignment because that's the active assignment. If I want to change the assignment, I have to right click an assignment, and then you have to select what's the option called Set as Active Assignment. What that will do, it'll now highlight this in green, making up the active assignment. Now I can start scanning in people. So I can scan in this person. There it is. There's the person I scanned in here. If I go to my Track app, I'll see my par count. You'll see your par count down here is going up. Same thing within your Track app. You'll see your par count going up. It should hit 7 here once it refreshes. If it will stay to the right here. Come on, stay there. So once it refreshes, you'll see that it will change to 7. Once it refreshes, then there it is. There's 7 now. So there's my operations, and I should see the same person in there. So you see on that? So it's syncing information back and forth between all your connected solutions. So again, all your Track app users would be able to see this information. So when you're looking at a process point, you can choose to do this through Command, or you can choose to do this through the Track app. It just really depends on what solutions you've purchased, right? So, and again, and also depends on the event as well, on how you want to utilize Command. Command is kind of a catch-all, right? You could do almost everything that you can do within the Track app. So I've got that there. I can scan in equipment if I wanted to. See on here, I just scanned a piece of equipment. So I'm just scanning this information in here. And then this information is being synced over. Other things you can do on here is that you can actually move people. So I can either scan their barcodes to move them. So if I scanned in Denise Gonzalez's barcode into the planning section chief, it would move her. Denise Gonzalez, where is she? You see that? It just moves her from the staging assignment to the planning assignment. But again, I can also do a manual move by dragging and dropping. So I can drag and drop. So I can click on one or I can click on multiple. To click on multiple, hold down your control key and it allows you to select multiple people. You see on that? You can unselect them. You can drag and drop. So you see on this, I'm just dragging and dropping and moving them from one assignment to the other assignment. And now you got two people within the logistics section chief assignment. See how simple and easy that is when you're looking at, when you've created your chart, you have all your people scanned in. Again, if you have all this data being scanned in from RapidTag and RapidTag EVAC and the Track app, you can do those movements through here, or of course you can just view. You can actually just view the chart as is and then watch what's going out in the field. Some organizations choose to use a command in that way where they're not doing any movements, they're not doing any addition of assignments. All the purpose of what they're looking at is where is everybody at. You can see the number of resources you have available, where they're all placed currently, all the different assignments. You can see a visual of that. Okay. Any questions on scanning in of resources? Again, I just talked about scanning of resources that are currently within your Salamander Live database and moving them. No questions? All right. Now, I didn't talk too much about these barcodes on here, but I will right now talk about these barcodes. So, or these barcodes, the toolbar right here, and these options. So you have a responder, you have an equipment one, you have a company one. These are manual adds. Think of adding this just as if you were adding it within RapidTag. So these are people that are not within your Salamander Live database, meaning that they do not have a Salamander credential. Okay. So Salamander credential either printed from Salamander Live, either printed from RapidTag if you have RapidTag active for this event. Because what's going to happen is it's going to create you're basically manually adding a person that does not exist within your database. If you drag and drop that person icon on there, so all it says is that, hey, create an ID number for this person. What's their name, what's their last name, what's their first name, and what's the organization that they're with. Okay. So the difference between this and RapidTag is that from the organization standpoint, you can't create any organizations from here, unfortunately. So that's just, unfortunately, that's not how the way command works. So you'll have a list of all the different types of organizations depending on how long you've used command for, and you'll have those organizations listed in there already. So these are organizations I've used in the past, and so it saves all this in my organization library. So this library is different than what's, again, available within Salamander Live. These are all organizations of people I've either scanned in through this system, meaning through command. Okay. I'm going to create a Mr. John Doe in here and then click Save. So in here I just added a Mr. John Doe. You'll see he has a different icon on here. So all these different icons mean different things. So at the very top, I'm going to show you where you can find your legend that will help you identify what these icons mean. So at the very top, you'll see a help function, and then you'll see a legend option. So if you click on that, that's going to tell you what all those different icons mean. So on here you see this ID valid. These people were scanned through the Track app, and their IDs were validated. That's why you see this ID valid on here. And then you'll see an unknown, which is the John Doe that we added. That's an unknown one. So it can be from any one of these different industries. So any like trades or volunteers, etc. Anybody that's not within your database and you don't have a Salamander ID for would pop up as an unknown. Okay. So all this data right here is being sent up to Salamander Live, shared across all databases in itself. Now, on here, you are able to add equipment if you wanted to. Again, this is your manual adds of equipment. You have this option, and you also have the ability to add collections. So similar to what you would create within Rapid Tag, you have the ability to create your different companies or collections. You'll see in here it's called companies, but in Salamander Live we call it collections. It means the same thing. It's basically just a group of resources, so either people and equipment. They're going to be tracked through the event as a single resource. So in here you're able to create these collections by hand. So many times, during an event you may not know that these groups are going to be working together, and you may figure it out, when they're on site, that you're going to pull them together and they're going to, go from assignment to assignment together. They're going to work on whatever it is together, that task. So in this case, you can go in here, you can create this. I'm just going to throw this in staging assignment and create a company. On here, what's required is ID and name. So what's the name of the company or the collection? I'm just going to put this as Strike Team. Well, if I can spell. So you can, ID and name could be exactly the same. It could be different. If you want to put this as Strike Team 1-1, you'll see that as you start typing the ID, it also fills that same information for the name. You can delete this and then write it out. Okay. If you wanted to put a NIMS type designation and kind on here, you definitely can. There's options in here. Oops. If you wanted to fill in this other information in here, you can. Click Save. So this one exists in my database already, so I'll add that. So here it is, Strike Team 1. So here's my collection. Now I can drag and drop people if I wanted to add them to the Strike Team. So let's say Avi Haas. You see in this, I'm dragging and dropping it. You see that the Strike Team 1, it's highlighted in gray. So I'm adding these people to Strike Team, to the Strike Team. I can right-click the Strike Team. So you see on here, it puts this green highlight around the team. I can right-click and set this Strike Team as the active assignment. And so what's happening is I can now use my USB scanner and start scanning in more people into this collection or this company. See that? So I'm just scanning them in. You'll see they have a different icon than the ones that were scanned through the Track app. Reason why: this is scanning through Command. Command does not have a identity verification feature that's embedded into the solution. So it's not validating their IDs when you scan them in. It recognizes though that they're from Moosewood Police Department, so they're law enforcement. So it's going to connect them to that legend or that icon. Okay. Now you are within this are able to create a collection within a collection. So this is one thing you can do within Command. This is one of the solutions you can do it in, or one of the only solutions you can do it in, I should say. So if you wanted to create like a strike teams and then Strike Team 1, or Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, you could do it that way. You can just drag and drop and then create it as such. So you can drag and drop it and create it as such if you need to. So let's add another one in here. Let's add, I'm just going to do a volunteer group. Volunteer groups. I'll save these. So you can drag and drop another one on here. You see that? B group 1. You see in that? You're just creating your child groups within this. B group 2. So you can do it that way as well too now. Now you have your volunteer group. So here's your main assignment. And then you have it, or a main group, and then you have them built and subbed off into smaller groups in here. Oh, yes, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I will make this bigger. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't realize my screen was so tiny on your end there. I normally will pay attention more, and I normally will increase that in size. So how I did that, if you're working with command, is down at the bottom. So bottom of your screen, you should see a zoom function. So down there, you'll have your option to zoom in and zoom out. So it goes from like 25% all the way to 200%. As you start building your event, you'll notice that, as you saw in here, your screen gets smaller and smaller. So as you start tacking on different assignments in here, your charts can get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you may have to zoom in to see your actual chart and all the people that's within your chart. I will show you how to build sideways, where you are able to add in tabs and then move your charts over so that you have more screen real estate to see. All right, so then that's another option in here as well too, just going back to our collections on here. So you can build your group, your main collection, and then your sub collections underneath that if you wanted to. And then you can drag and drop or scan your people into these particular groups. On the track app itself, I'll show you how this looks like. So on the track app, you see on staging, I've got 4 in here. So you'll see on here, you'll see your strike team 1 and then your volunteer groups, your main one. If you tap on that, so you tap on the name of the collection, it'll take you into your smaller groups. So in here, we don't have people in here, that's why it's showing up none, but this is your volunteer group 1 and group 2. Once we start adding people in here, you'll see that you can see your different groups in here. But again, I just want to show you guys how to see your subgroups within the track app itself. Okay. All right, so other things to take note of is when you're building out your chart, as I stated, as you start building items, they may get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you have the option to build sideways as well. I'll pull up another event here. Let me see if I have an older event that has more stuff in. I thought I created one that had a bunch of maybe not. Let me see this one. Oh, this is an ended event. So this one here, you'll see on here, this is a chart. I'll make sure it's bigger. So here's a chart. You'll see it has a bunch of people in there. There's a hot zone, fire branch, all different assignments, all different people in here. You'll see this was connected through Rapid Tag as well. So you had Rapid Tag people checked in here. So you see in this is Rapid Tag that was checked in. So that's the default assignment. And you also see that we also had Rapid Tag that was joined into this event as well. So you had, let's see, Command, Rapid Tag Evac, and the Track app. So 4 different solutions that's working in one. And all that data is being collected through Command and being shared across all the solutions that does allow two-way syncing. So the only one that does not allow two-way syncing is Rapid Tag Evac. So you wouldn't see, again, that's just for patients, evacuees. You don't want responder type information being pulled up in your Rapid Tag Evac computer. So that's why it's just a one-way sync when it comes to that data. But you'll see at the very top here, if I move this up, let me just go back to the main here. If you see at the very top here, I have one called ICS on here. I think that was just one that we had just named up on here, so stations on here. So you are able to build sideways in this way. So let's say if I wanted to create one called operations, I could. So at the very top, you'll see there's these menus at the top. So under incident, the incident tab is going to have the most, it's going to have the one that has the most features that you can add other things to and see. So on here, you'll see it's a second option in here called add tab. I know it's really tiny. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's called add tab. Just go ahead and select that. You're going to get this little pop-up that says add tab. Name the page. What do you want to name it as? I'm going to name this as operations. I'm going to click save, what it's going to do, it's going to create a brand new tab with a brand new layout area. You see that? All brand new, all clear. I can start scanning in assignments right here and start creating a separate chart. Or I can drag and drop a section from my main chart over. So for example, I want my operations section moved over to this tab because again, the operations section is probably one of the bigger tabs or bigger sections. I'm going to drag and drop it here. You see that? I just dragged and drop it. This is 200%. So you see on here. So operations, you'll see at the very top, you'll see that black arrow. That black arrow signifies that it's connected to the main chart. So the main chart's called the post tab. See that? Main chart's connected to the post tab on here. So you see on here, it just removes it from the main chart, but you know that it's on here because it's connected. You see these two right here are not connected in any way because there's no black arrow at the very top on here. So these are just separate charts that's being created on its own. So you can create as many tabs as you want on the top here. Again, it just really depends on how large your event is. If it's it's a really large scale event, you got thousands of people that you're looking at tracking. You can build as many of these tabs as you want to create your separate charts in there if you need to. Okay. Questions on adding tabs? Okay. Other things you'll see on here is an option to edit the incident. So this here, I want to talk about this for a second because as you guys know, there's a new feature that we just released within Salamander Live that allows you to edit the event name in Salamander Live. Just note that if you created the event through command and it's command only event, if you change the event in here under this edit incident option, it will change the event name in Salamander Live. However, if you change the name in Salamander Live, it will not change the event name in command. Okay? So that's very important to note that it's just one way. It's one way only. Command to Salamander Live, and that's it. So I'm going to show this to you guys really quick here. So again, this is a feature that was just released a couple weeks ago. We are able to change the event name. So Thursday event, if I click the checkbox in here, I'm able to edit the event and I'm able to change the event name. Okay, so if I wanted to change this to something else, let's say Thursday, if I wanted to delete, let's just delete the date off here and then click save. It's going to take me to the event. Now I have the event that's saved as such. If I go back to command, I'm just going to open up this event real quick here. You see on here, it does not change the name in here at all. The event is still going to be Thursday event with the actual date. Okay, so it's one way only. If I changed it in here, and I put this Thursday event, yay. I click save. If I go to Salamander Live here, for my event. Just refresh this once it's done. There it is. You see that? Thursday event, yay. Again, it's a command only event. I haven't joined it with a Salamander Live event. What I mean by this is because in Salamander Live, you're able to create an event right here, either through this function by clicking the add button or through a plan. If you do it in that way, if you make a name change through command, it's not going to change in Salamander Live because the Salamander Live event name is going to take precedence. Okay. All right. Go back to this. This is our old event again, our event from earlier. Other things that you're able to do within command that you aren't able to do with our other solutions. There's a couple things on here. So there is a par count. So this is one of the only solutions that you're able to complete a par count. So a par stands for Personnel Accountability Report, and basically what it is just validating, verifying that you have the correct number of people within each assignment. So you're just making sure that you're being accountable for all the people. So if you click on that, I know this is really tiny and very hard to see. Unfortunately, I cannot zoom this in any larger than what this is. But basically in here, it's going to list all the different assignments that you have people assigned, that you have people assigned to. So like, for example, Incident Commander has one person. So you can say, okay, Incident Commander, here, they're here, very good to go. Logistics, you have your 2 people there, they're good to go. You know, this is probably going to be more for your people that's out in the field. Like, for example, your strike team, making sure that, you know, your strike team, there's 4 people there. You'd radio in, verify that they're all there. If they're verified, you can click that checkbox. It's as simple as that. Click Save. Once you click Save, what's going to happen is on this log, so there's another tab at the very top here called Log. And this Log tab, and unfortunately I can't make this any bigger either, but it puts a timestamp on here that you completed a par check for each of those different assignments. So this log is very similar to what you would see within Salamander Live. So this log in command is not printable. So you can't print this log on here. But we do have a separate event log report that you are able to print. So if you click the checkbox, you'll see on here, there's an event log report. So this is the one that you are able to pull, and this would show the par counts, you know, when you created the event, all the people that's joined the event, etc. You would see all that in here. So you see all this? So it's very similar to what you would see within the command log itself. Another thing that you can do in here is medical information. Again, it's there. I don't know how many organizations that are on this call actually use the medical tab, but as you know, in Salamander Live, you are able to capture medical information for each of your people. If you do so, you are able to print that barcode on the back of the ID tag. So there is a specific design that allows you to print off the medical barcode, and that medical barcode can be scanned in through the Track app here. So I don't know if I actually have one that actually has a medical barcode. As you know, with the new update that we just did a couple weeks ago, we do have designs that actually remove the medical barcode. If you do and are using the medical barcode and you want that, just make sure you contact our support team. They can provide you the old designs that have the medical barcode. Let me see here if I have one. Here is one. Ben Adams. So, medical barcode right there. You just basically scan that in. I'll move it over here so I can actually scan it on my smaller screen. It tends to be less. You'll get this little message. I know you can't see it, but it says, this barcode contains sensitive medical information. Are you authorized to view it? Again, command is normally in the command post, so usually it's higher up individuals that would have access to this. All you have to do is click yes. If you click no, it just closes out this window. Click yes, and it's going to pull up their medical information. Whatever has been captured in their profile in Salamander Live and printed within and embedded within that medical barcode. So you'll be able to see all that information in there. Okay. Once you click X, it closes that out. None of that medical information is saved in command. All it does is it shows the information. Once you exit out, it says that at this time, you'll see in the log on here, it just shows that a medical barcode for this ID was scanned and viewed. Okay, so that's all it states. Other things that you can do in here is timers. So there's notes and timers. So you can add a master timer by going to Incident and looking at timers here, or you can add an individual timer to your specific assignments. So I know for like fire departments, if you're sending people into a hot zone and you want to put a timer on there for 20 minutes, you're able to set a timer for yourself for that. Let me just add an assignment on here. I'm just going to drag and drop one on here. I'm just going to create one called Hot Zone. already have one, so there it is. There's my hot zone. I can drag and drop my timer on here and then put it for 20 minutes, my warning. If I want to put a warning for 5 minutes, and then your second warning at 1 minute. Okay. You can do a par check, your par count to verify, or you can write that to get people out there. Whatever you want to put in there, I can click save. Once I click save, you'll see a little clock appears within that assignment. This is very similar to that resource timer that you see within Salamander Live, except the resource timer is for the entire event, and also you can set it for individual people. In Command here, you cannot send it for individual people. You can only set it for specific assignments. So assignment as a whole, not individual people. So you can use this timer in conjunction to the one that you have within Salamander Live to really create that scheduling if you need to. More than likely in a command center, you would have command up on one screen and then Salamander Live on another screen, because there's different aspects of each solution that you would use to manage the event. Just depends on what you're looking for, and of course each solution is going to have some functionality and why the other one does not. Okay. You can also drag and drop the note icon in here if you want to, So if you want to put whatever note you want to put in there, so say this is just a test. If you put that in there, you'll see that little drop down. It says your little note on here, whatever you want to put. So those are additional functionalities that's just very specific to command itself. Okay. Any questions on this functionality? The timer and the note. Okay. Now, I didn't talk about this. If there's no questions, I'll move on. Is that in the track app itself, as you know, you are able to download and are able to scan in assignments if you want to. Just note that any assignments that you add through the track app that does not have resources will not filter and be synced up through Command. Command doesn't care about those assignments until there's people in there. On the vice versa, Command, if you add assignments, it'll always show within the track app. So I'm going to just give you an example real quick here. I'm going to download an assignment real quick. I'm just going to add one called, I'm going to search for it, fire, if I can spell. So there it is. I'm just going to add fire branch in here. So you see that? I'm just adding that. So I added the fire branch in here. You see it's been added to the event itself. It's never going to appear in here until I actually add people. So I'm just going to minimize this, or not minimize it, but to zoom out a little bit in here. You'll see that it'll never be added in here. I added it to the operations, or it's going to be added in here. So at the very top, you should see one pop up. However, it's only going to pop up if there's resources added. So I can sync as much as I want. It's never going to appear on here. However, the moment I actually add someone, that's when it pops up on here. So I'm going to tap on this and add someone really quick on here. I'm going to add Mr. Josh Adams to this assignment. So now I should see a fire branch assignment populate in here. So it's going to populate right here. Whenever it's done syncing. So again, it takes a couple minutes for Command to get that data. There it is. So you see a fire branch. Now it populated because now there's a resource tied to it. Now I can drag and drop this and throw it where I need to go. You'll see in here, fire branch, hot zone. If I want to throw this underneath here, I can right click. You can see in here, there's an option for me to detach. I can detach this. You can throw it as a singular now, and I can drag and drop it and throw it in under the correct assignment if I need to. There is an option for you to delete assignments. So the command solution is the only one that you're able to delete or remove it from the actual event itself. Like for example, I'm just going to throw it in here. Okay, save, add that. You see on here, I add the fire attack. In the track app, I should see one called fire attack, but I can right click and I can remove it from the event. So again, command is your one solution that you're able to do that. Okay. So those are just some of the functionality that's going to be different than what you can do within the other solutions. So command, it's kind of a catch-all for all of our other solutions, a great tool to have. If you don't have command, I highly recommend that you add this to your repertoire of solutions with Salamander, just so that you can get this functionality of this visual aspect of the event in here. Okay. Any questions on what we covered here within command? Okay, so I deleted it from here. Let me just show you this real quick while you guys think on your questions. So you see in here, I removed it from here. So I removed it from my command event. You'll see that it's always going to be a part of the event, and so it doesn't actually completely remove it. What I mean by removing is that it just removes it to keep your command layout nice and clean until you actually add people. Once you add people back in here, then you'll start seeing the assignment pop back up. Okay. Same thing. You can never remove people once you check someone in, and once you add them into the event, you can never delete them. Once you add resources, the only way to actually remove them is you got to throw them off scene. So that's the only way. Question. So if you create a chart structure in Sal Live with extended version, will it appear the same in command? No. Great question. So if you have the extended version of the chart, this function right here, it does not, because this chart is completely separate than your command chart. The only time that it would ever create this chart within Salamander Live is from a plan. But even so, within command, the chart you still have to create that chart no matter what, because command and Salamander Live is always going to be separate. The charts do not interact, and the chart structure does not, whatever you create within Salamander Live or through plans, is never reflected over and through command. That's why in the beginning I talked about, if you create a plan with your chart structure, make sure you go in command and recreate that chart structure so that everything matches up. If you create a chart structure within Salamander Live here and you want the same chart structure with command, make sure you go into command and create that same chart structure in here. So you see in this, in command, I had all this stuff on here, fire branch, hot zone. I don't have that option in here. So you see that it just kind of threw everything up on here. So now I have to like go in here and I have to create my chart. Okay. So great question. Any other questions that you guys have? Any other questions? Okay. No other questions? All right. So this does conclude our training today for command itself. If you are interested in the plan feature, make sure you join me next week. Let me get the correct time on here. So I tell you guys the correct time. It is at 10 a.m. Central. So 10 a.m. Central. If you did not receive the communication on this, let me know. Send me an email. Here's my email. get this up on here. Send me an email at training@salamanderlive.com, and I will forward you that invite so that you can come in and learn about this new plans feature, because that does come into play with command as well too, and we will talk about that. We'll touch on the command aspect of it through the plans piece, because it does play a role in it. Yes, just come back and join me on that if you're interested in learning out on how to create plans. How you look at the check-in process when it comes to checking in plan resources and things like that. So come back and visit me next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. for plans. Other than that, if you want to see this again, come back on the 20th at 10 a.m. So we're going to run this command training all over again. So if you want to see this again, don't be shy. Come back and join me back at 10 a.m. on the 20th, and we'll go over this whole command training again. So again, repetition is as I like to say in training, is like repetition, right? It helps you retain that information. The more times you hear it, the more times you use it, the more time it's going to stay ingrained in you. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's training. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, and take care. All right, be safe out there and be healthy. Have a great day.